Welcome, 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 guys. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial weekend. I definitely did. I relaxed in the pool all weekend with my baby sister and my older sister. My younger sister had a pool and jacuzzi built in her backyard. And so we have been taking full advantage of that. So I had a wonderful, wonderful Memorial weekend. So, anyway, as you're coming on in, let me know where you're from, right? Let me know your name and let me know where you're from. Also, let me know what type of business you're running so that I know as we continue to talk and create a lot of dialogue in this webinar. I want to make sure that I can plug in some real-time scenarios for you guys. So go ahead and let me know where you're from. And we'll get started as everyone comes in. So we'll be getting started in just a few minutes. So glad to have you guys. And let me just make sure I have my presentation ready to go. Let's see here. Is this the one? Yes. All right. So yeah, let me know as you're coming in, where you're from, all that good stuff. And we're going to go ahead and get started in just a second. Because I want to make sure that we end on time. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So hey, Alyssa Gibson from Houston. So glad to have you, Alyssa. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, let me know. But welcome, welcome. We'll go ahead and get started. And Alyssa, let me know what type of business that you're running. A little bit about me. So I think most of you guys know me, right? I'm Seneca Dunmore, the Pint Size Powerhouse. Got that name back in 2015 at my very first speaking engagement here in Houston, Texas. I had just walked away from my corporate job, started my speaking business in 2015. Okay, good. Alyssa says that's right. Good. I'm glad I pronounced it correctly. But yeah, I walked away from my corporate job, started my own business in 2015. And by 2016, I was international. And in 2022, I started another business, Dunmore Capital Ventures, where we connect founders with funding, right? So that's one of the things that I'll be talking about in this presentation is about, how I got into basically connecting founders, right? Small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, and historically marginalized and economically disenfranchised communities. Because again, those are the communities that need most help, right? People who look like me. And I absolutely love it. Like it is the best thing ever to help people find funding. And so I've helped many organizations to get grant funding, to secure other contract funding, business loans and things like that with the banks. So that's kind of what I do well. That's my superpower is connecting founders with funders and funding. So yes. Children's clothing brand. We focus on celebrating the color brown using organic fabrics. We're in Nordstrom and on our site. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful. Well, I can't wait to check that out because I have a girlfriend who just had a baby, and he's 4 months old, and so I would love to buy some clothing for him. And I mean, he's a big boy. He's growing so fast. He's only 4 months, and he's like wearing 9-month clothing. And I think probably in the next month he'll be in like 1 year old clothing. He's a big boy. But anyway, thank you so much for that information. And I can't wait to see how we can help you as well. And it's great that you're local to Houston, because again, I'll be telling you about some things that I've got going on in June. So guys, let's go ahead and get started because I want to be mindful of our time. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get this party started. All right, here we are. All right, guys. So can everybody see my screen? Let me just make sure it's large enough. So again, my name is Seneca Dunmore, the Pine Size Powerhouse, born and raised here in Houston, Texas. Got a scholarship to go to Tuskegee University, where I got my bachelor's in biology. Came back home to Houston, Texas. Went to Texas Southern University and got my master's in information technology. And I'm currently finishing my doctorate in higher education. So I'm in three different disciplines, right? Science, technology, and education. And I absolutely love it. So again, this webinar is going to be about how I was able to secure $29,000 for my business in 1 month, right? And we're going to explore the three mistakes that most of you guys are making in your small business as keeping you from the money you need to really grow and scale your business. And let me be very clear. You need capital to grow and scale your business. And all of that capital does not have to come from your own account. Okay, let me be very clear about that. Just because you run your own business does not mean that all of the funding that goes into your business needs to be your own. And we'll talk more. I'll deep dive into that because I'll show you some things that I've done to raise the capital and some of the things that I've been able to do in life because I've had so many people who've supported me and who have poured into my business monetarily. Okay, so if you stay to the end, right, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck that I used to secure the $29,000. Okay, and guys, and it looked just like this, right? At the time, I think it was about 9 slides. I extended it to 12. Okay. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to give to you the exact pitch deck that I use to pitch to corporate organizations and individual investors. Okay. So again, my name is Seneca Dunmore, the Pine Size Powerhouse. I'm an international speaker and I'm an angel investor. I'm a speaker coach, right? I coach new and aspiring speakers on how to build a speaking business from the ground up, how to maximize it, how to monetize it. I also coach high impact professional and business owners on how to leverage communication and professional speaking as a primary vehicle to secure funding for their business. I'm a global philanthropist, so I'll talk about some of my mission trips that I've done in other parts of the world. And I've been featured, right, with Essence, Black Enterprise, New York Times, Afrochella in Ghana. But I always tell people my favorite title is servant. I am what you call a kingdom financier. And most of you are like, what is that, right? A kingdom financier is someone God has commissioned, has strategically positioned to be a conduit, right? So I'm a conduit of financial resources, meaning those resources flow from me, right? I take them from other individuals, other investors and funders. They flow through me, and I make sure that they get into the hands of the individuals who are seeking funding. Okay. Any questions up until now? And guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and jot them in the chat and I'll make sure that I get to them. Okay. So if you think of anything, just throw it in the chat. And as I'm talking, I'll check back from time to time to make sure that I answer your questions. All right. So again, let me tell you where that $29,000 came from. Number one of the investments came from JP Morgan Chase. Okay. I had them fund my very first conference in Charlotte, North Carolina last year in 2022. And let me be very clear with you guys. I had never done my own conference before. Now, I had spoke on many stages before. I've spoken on stages from New York to the coast of South Africa, but that was my first time ever planning my own conference. I've done workshops and master classes and smaller events, but this was my first time doing, a major event. Excuse me, my eye was itching. And so I was really excited and really proud of myself because I got the number one bank in the, United States to cut a check to pay for my event. Not only that, but a month later, after hosting the event, I caught the attention of an angel investor via LinkedIn, who gave me a $25,000 angel investment to start a whole new business, Dunmore Capital Ventures, right? And so that business is strategically focused on connecting founders with funders, getting funding in the hands of those founders. And just to give you a little bit of insight about me and where I come from, right? So, born and raised in Houston, Texas, on the southeast side of town, called in a neighborhood called Sunnyside. Sunnyside was considered the sixth most dangerous neighborhood in America. Okay. So when people see me, they hear all the degrees, they see all of the countries that I've been to, they would never guess that I came out of, Sunnyside. But let me tell you what I found out about Sunnyside growing up. Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Even though, crime was par for the course, there was drugs running rampant in our community. Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Sunnyside was an economically um, a disenfranchised community, economically disenfranchised and marginalized, meaning we were strategically kept out of the process of creating wealth for ourselves. So many of us had no choice but to do some of the things that we did, right? Well, at least we felt like we had no choice. Let me say it that way, because you always have a choice, right? Some of the individuals in my community felt like those choices were being taken away from them, right? Those opportunities were being taken away from them. And so as a result, that's where the crime and the poverty and, the gun violence and things like that emerged. But this is what I'm going to stress in this webinar with you guys. Relationships are the key to advocacy, and advocacy is the key to success, right? And the key to access. The way that I was able to get JP Morgan Chase to sponsor my event, get the $25,000 angel investment, had nothing to do with me being the smartest person in the room, having the most degrees, having the most profitable business. It had nothing to do with any of that. It had everything to do with the fact that I make it my business to cultivate relationships with the people who have access to the capital. I'm going to pause right there so y'all can soak that in. Okay. I make it my business to partner with the individuals who have access to the capital. Okay. And let me break that down for you. So remember when I was saying I'm a global philanthropist, right? I've done a lot of work internationally. In 2019 and 2020, I studied at the University of Ghana at their Institute of African Studies, right? And I was doing some work for my doctoral studies. That whole trip was paid in full. And let me remind you guys, the flight itself was $2,600, just the flight. And remember, I needed hotel accommodations, food, the whole gamut. All of that paid in full. I also did a medical mission to Luanda, Angola in 2016, paid in full. That very same year in 2016, I taught in South Africa with another team of women from the US. There were 7 of us who went. That whole trip was paid in full. I've done 3 medical missions in Kenya, right, where we provide medical resources and free healthcare services to many of the tribes there in Kenya. One of my absolute favorite countries. If you have not been to Kenya, make that a priority. Put that on your to-do list. Okay. And all of that was done through crowdfunding. So there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to funding, right? There's traditional funding where you can get angel investments, venture capital investments, bank loans, right? Grants. But then there's also non-traditional funding like crowdfunding. And we'll talk a little bit about more of that as we go. But this is what I want to stress to you guys. You are your greatest investment. So, and let me tell you, just because we're in a down economy, money is up. Just because we're in a down economy, money is up, meaning investors, banks, they are looking for individuals to place their money with. Okay. They are looking for people to invest in. They are looking for businesses to invest in. So if you have a small business, right? If you, and it sounds like, from the young lady who, Alyssa, you have a small business that I'm sure investors would be interested uh, in investing in. And especially because it has some economic factors in terms of being an organic, organic fabrics, right? That you're very conscious of the ecosystem. That's a beautiful thing. That's something that impact investors are wanting to look into. All right, so let's keep it moving, guys. Investors want to. Here's number one. The number one thing I want you to remember is that investors want to see proof, not potential. So if you're a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're a startup, you're just getting started, investors want to see proof of what you've done. I'm not saying you have to have it all together. I'm not saying that you have to come with a stellar business plan, all of those things, but you need some foundational things done, right? Meaning, you're an established business, whether that's a C corp, an S corp, an LLC, a nonprofit organization, right? That you have that you're set up, right? You have a business bank account. If they ask you to produce profit and loss statements or balance sheets or things like that, like you can produce those documents, right? You have someone who's taking care of the books and in the accounting, even if it's you right now. So again, you don't have to have it all figured out, but you have to have proof, some social proof, some proof that this is a profitable business and that it's working. even if you're not making a lot of money in the business, right? But it's something that the market wants. It's something that they're asking for. And you know how the market will let you know what it wants? It will pay for it. So if people are not investing in your business by way of patronizing it, that is probably something that the market does not want. Okay. And let me just give you some proof, right? And some of the things that I've done. So here's a young lady, Becky Williams, who I've known my entire life. We went to grade school together, eighth, from elementary, middle school to high school. She's a mother, a wife, has been running her own business for the past 20 years. And she came to me because she wanted to become a confident, more compelling communicator. Because you do realize, right? Part of, accessing the capital that you need to really grow in your scale, your business is being a good communicator, being able to articulate and really communicate what it is that you do, right? And how it benefits the greater good of humanity. And so this young lady came to me wanting to become a better speaker. And guess what? In less than 2 months of attending my Confident Compelling Communicator program, she was able to land a six-figure contract for her business. Okay. So again, I'm not telling you what I've heard, I'm telling you what I've done through my own business and helping my own clients to secure capital for their business. Another young lady, Joy Jackson, who was literally let go from her corporate job, her six-figure corporate job, my ad, when she uh, sought me out. She found out about me through her husband because her husband and I went to Tuskegee University together, and so she really wanted to dive out into the entrepreneurship realm and become her own professional speaker, build her own business. And guess what? She's doing that now. Before finishing my Powerhouse Professional Speaker program, she had already secured two paid speaking engagements, and literally doubled her price in less than a month. She went from 2,500 to 5,000. And I'm pretty sure that's probably about 10,000 or more now. Also, this is another young lady, right, who went through one of my accelerator programs. It was a 2-day intensive. She came to me because she wanted to secure more funding for her business by way of speaking. And she was able to do that. Now, Janae, she deals in the DEI space. She owns her own human capital consulting firm. And so is doing, I mean, an amazing job, right? Dealing with some high level, big corporate clients. And so I was able to help her build out her signature talk. And now she's built a whole new stream of income through speaking on behalf of her own business. Okay. So again, number one, remember what I told you guys, that they want to see proof. Investors, funders, they want to see proof. So make sure, as you're posting, talking about different things in your business, make sure you're sharing those testimonials. Video testimonials are by far the best. So don't just use, a picture with a write-up. As much as possible, get a video testimonial. They go a lot further. Okay. Now, number two, you need more than just people with influence. You need advocates who have affluence. What are advocates? Advocates are the individuals who, when you're not in the room, they're advocating for you, right? They're making the case on why you should qualify for the funding, why they should give the funding to you. Okay. So you don't need people who just have influence, but you need advocates, because those advocates who have affluence, right? They know other people in their community who have access to the capital, access to the funding, right? And they can be the ones who speak on your behalf. And again, you want people in the room speaking on your behalf when you don't even have to be there. When I got the funding from JP Morgan, I'm pretty sure after I made my pitch, they had to go back and have another meeting about me, right? And about funding my organization. And because I was invited by one of the managers specifically, he advocated for me. And I'm very grateful for that, because he was also a person of color. And so he was he was able to advocate on why I should get that funding and how it was going to benefit the greater community. And so, guys, let me tell you, one of the best places to find influencers, individuals who have affluence, right? Funders, investors, is LinkedIn. If you're not making money on LinkedIn, you are using it incorrectly. Now, I know, most people think LinkedIn is just to find a job, but no, there's plenty of people who are looking for ways to park their money, ways to invest their money. So, i.e., they're looking for you. Okay. So let me just show you some of the individuals that I've been able to meet through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been a gold mine for me. So this is Padowitz Alcee. He is an artificial intelligence patent attorney in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and he deals with unicorn clients, meaning clients who are valued at over $1 billion. He was one of the speakers at my very first conference last year that was sponsored by JP Morgan Chase. Met him through LinkedIn. Here's another gentleman, Brandon Ziegler, who manages $4.6 billion, right? He manages a portfolio of $4.6 billion. He's also an angel investor, and he has his own fund. This is someone that I met also through LinkedIn. So again, if you are meeting these type of individuals on LinkedIn, you need to make it a priority to do that. If you are looking for funding, especially if you're looking for equity funding, meaning you're looking for venture capital funds, angel investors to pour into your business, you should definitely be seeking them out on LinkedIn. That's definitely where they hang out. They hang out. There and Twitter is probably the two hot spots where you can find a lot of those investors. Another thing, volunteer where the people are, right? Volunteer where the people with the money are. That's conferences, trade shows, sporting events. Why do I say volunteer? Because, if you are not able to afford some of these conferences, because they can get pricey, I understand. I volunteered for years because I knew that the best way to get in the room with these individuals was to volunteer. Because now I'm edifying myself because I love to serve, right? So I'm doing something that benefits me, but I'm also helping that organization. And they're rewarding me by allowing me to go to their events for free, as long as I give up my time and my service. So let me show you some of the people that I met volunteering. This is the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, Cynthia Marshall. Met her in Vegas at the Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit. I've also met senior advisor to U.S. President Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. Met her at that very same conference in Vegas. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Farrah Gray, right? Best-selling author, millionaire, investor, speaker. Met him right at another conference. I believe it was with Black Enterprise as well. So have y'all noticed, right? A theme here. Love serving with Black Enterprise. I love serving with the Texas Women's Conference. I love serving with the National Black MBA Association. Those are some places that you can volunteer your time. And guess what? And by doing that, you can get into the room with the people with the money. All right, so we have a question. Let me put it up on the screen here. Hi, this is Bill from Milwaukee. My question is, the Kenya trips, etc., they were funded for you, and are they loans, grants, investments for equity? I have a private mail business virtual address. We also offer business consulting, business credit, but the bread and butter are the virtual address centers. Great presentation thus far. Thank you. No, all of those, Bill, all of those trips were crowdfunded. Right? So crowdfunding is kind of an alternative source of funding, which means that money is not paid back. Now, it's different to say like you're doing a crowdfunding for, let's say, real estate. So one of the gentlemen who spoke at my last conference, and he's also coming back for this conference, is a real estate investor. And so what he did was he crowdfunded, raised over $1 million to start a new real estate project. And so what happens is all of those individuals who invested into that real estate project by way of giving their money, when that property starts to see some returns, they will receive the dividends. They will be the recipient of those dividends. So it's not necessarily that he's paying the money back, but because of the property is now generating income. And so because they invested in it, they will also receive portions of the proceed, portions of those dividends. But all of the ones that I did were crowdfunding that I did not have to pay back. So I've raised tens of thousands of dollars to do these personal, trips, humanitarian trips, educational trips, teaching and things like that. And I do not have to pay that money back. So great question. Great question. All right. So we'll keep it going. Um, Another thing, this is what I want you guys to remember. The quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. What is social capital? Meaning cultivating relationships with the people who have access to the resources. And let me show you a couple of banks that I've cultivated relationships with, right? So I'm able to learn about the funding that they have available for small business owners. So, one of my favorite banks, I bank one of my many business accounts is with US Bank. US Bank by far has been one of the best banks that I've ever worked with. I love having a business account with them. They have a bank access fund that has 30 million in that account. They're looking to invest in 30,000 women of color owned micro business, right? 30,000 women owned micro business owners. So if you're a woman of color, you definitely need to be looking into that fund. Also, remember I told y'all I had JP Morgan Chase Bank to sponsor my very first event. Right now, they have a fund. There's $2 billion in that fund, okay, that they're looking to deploy to Black, Latina, and women-owned businesses. So if you're a Black, Latina, or a woman-owned business, you need to be taking advantage of that funding. How do you do that? By cultivating relationships with individuals on the inside. One of the best ways to do that is go through your LinkedIn, see how many, directors, managers, people that you can connect with through Chase, right? Invite them out for coffee. Go to their office. You want to meet them, right? Open up accounts with them. And now again, opening up accounts is not a prerequisite for funding. So you don't have to have an account with them to get funded. Let me be very clear. I do not have an account with JP Morgan Chase. And I got funded for them for my last conference. And guess what? I'm scheduled to receive more funding from them for my next conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it has everything to do with me cultivating a relationship with them. That's how I was able to get the funding because I cultivate relationships. I actually get to know the people on the inside. And if you have a small business, everybody should know who their banking manager is. You should have a personal relationship with your business banking manager. They should know about your business. They should know, how well your business is doing. They should know, what your taxes and your profit and loss and all of that. They should know what that looks like. Because guess what? When it's time for funding, when you need more funding, you're top of mind because you're already discussing those things with them. And now they become your advocates and they can go speak with the underwriters on your behalf. That's why you want to have a personal relationship with the business banking managers. When I hear people who always talk about, well, Seneca, I applied for funding, I got denied. The first thing I ask them is, before you apply for funding, did you know who the business banking manager was? Had you already cultivated a relationship with them? Well, well, no, but I mean, I go in, I have an account with the bank. I go in and I do transactions all the time. Transactions and building a relationship is two different things. Just because you are with a bank, you're going in and making deposits, you're making withdrawals, you're speaking to the tellers. Guess what? That's not the same thing as cultivating a relationship with them. If you don't have a relationship, then you just become another number, right? You just become another number in a stack of, applications that they have with everybody who wants the funding. But guess what? If you've cultivated a relationship with them, if you're meeting with them on a quarterly basis, guess what? Now your application gets pulled a little bit quicker than everybody else's because that's just the way of the world. Okay. That's just how things operate. So again, every quarter, you should be meeting with your personal business banking manager, talking about your business, talking about what you got going on for the next year, what you're going to need funding for next time for. It shouldn't be, this is news to them every time you come into the office. It should be an ongoing thing where they know how your business is doing, how it's operating, what type of operational expenses they can help you to cover, what type of loan products that they can, put into your hand, what type of grants that they have available that they can distribute to you. When I was in grad school, guys, I got $19,000 in scholarship funds. By the time I got to the last semester, my dean told me to apply for another scholarship. I was already done paying for school. I didn't have any more. Uh, I didn't have a balance to pay. But she told me to apply for the scholarship anyway. Only three people could apply, and only one person could get it. I got it, and guess what? It was for $7,500. So one of my graduation gifts was the school just cut me the check. They just gave me the money, and I went and bought my parents a new car. Okay. So that's JP Morgan Chase. Another bank, PNC Bank, right? Another client of mine. So PNC Bank have an $88 billion fund right now. 47 billion of that money is allocated for home lending, right? Real estate projects. 26.5 billion of that is allocated for small businesses, guys. They're trying to lend to small businesses. And my contact within PNC Bank is specifically one of the managers um, who is heading their minority division, which means they're making a great push to put more funding in the hands of minorities. Okay, 26.5 billion. 14.5 billion of that is for community development financing. So if you're working on community development projects, right, really trying to build up the communities, right, you need to be looking into that funding. And people always ask me, well, Seneca, how do you know about this funding? Because I have relationships with all of these banks. I know people on the inside personally. I have a relationship with them. I'm just not going in making transactions. I'm actually cultivating a relationship with them. So by the time I ask for money, right, they already know who I am. It's not a new conversation. It's not a conversation that they haven't heard before. And they know why I need the money. Because remember, guys, business is a team sport. You should be in business for yourself, but you should never be in business by yourself. If you're wanting to grow and scale your business, it's going to take a team. It's going to take more than you. It's going to take more than your efforts. And it's going to take more than your resources. You should be seeking outside funding to help you grow and scale your business because there's organizations who are seeking you to park their money with, to invest their money with. Okay. And let me just ask you a question. How many of you are struggling to access capital for your business? How many are struggling to access capital for your business? Maybe you don't have enough connections. Maybe you don't know where the capital is. Maybe you don't know even how to get started. You don't know what funding vehicle is best for your business, right? You don't know if you should be applying for loans or for grants or angel investments, venture capital investments. You don't know if you should be doing a crowdfunding, right? How many of you are just like lost? Maybe you know a little bit about how this funding, how to navigate this funding space, but really you're like, Seneca, I need some help. I don't know who the funders are. I don't know where they are. I'm not having enough conversations. Let me know in the chat where you stand, right? Let me know where you stand. Let me know where you guys stand. Okay. And as I'm waiting on you guys, I'll keep on going. So if you're struggling, can I offer you something? Because I'm all about solutions. We know what the problem is, right? We already know what the problem is. And between February and April of 2020, 41% of Black businesses went out of business because they did not have enough working capital in their business. We know that, right? We know that the biggest hindrance for small businesses failing across the board, right? Black, white, Latina, it doesn't matter, but more particularly for people of color is funding, right? We don't have enough working capital in our businesses. So when you have a natural disaster, like COVID-19 pandemic, it nearly wiped out half of Black businesses. Okay, so Miss Alyssa said, haven't started the journey of sourcing outside funds yet, but looking for information to begin. Absolutely. And Alyssa, you're in the position that most people are in, right? They've never secured outside funding. You've probably been bootstrapping, meaning you've been putting all of your own personal funds into your business, which is not a bad thing, but it's not sustainable. And guess what? There's opportunities for other people to invest in your business. That takes a lot of the weight off of you because you're creating a win-win. You're providing an opportunity for investors to do what they do best, which is invest, right? And it's giving you an opportunity to keep a lot of your own personal funds to yourself and also grow and scale your business quicker because now you have a team of individuals who are more knowledgeable, they have more resources, right? And so you can go further faster. So guys, let me tell you about this. In June 16th and 17th, I'm going to be hosting my third annual Access Granted Conference. This year's theme is less dialogue, more dollars. What do I mean by that? You know, a lot of us, we don't need more mentorship. We don't need like a whole bunch of dialogue. We need some dollars. We need some funding into our business. And don't get me wrong, all of those other things, accelerators, incubators, mentorship, coaching programs, I'm an advocate of all of those things, but they mean absolutely nothing if they're not being accompanied with dollars. If money is not being placed into your business for it to grow and scale, then it's not, you know, it's all for naught. The goal is to make sure that along with those other resources comes the monetary resources. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Access Granted and what you're going to get. So when you sign up for Access Granted, right, you're going to get a welcome package from me and sponsors, right, which is valued at $45. You're going to get an exquisite 3-course dining experience, right? So not only are you going to be in the room with the funders, you're going to be surrounded by 100, right? We're scheduled for 100 people of small business owners, entrepreneurs. So like-minded individuals in the room with you, all having the same experience. So that course, dining course, will be $100 value. Cocktails in the Courtyard business networking experience. So you get to mix and mingle with the funders. You get to mix and mingle with other like-minded individuals, and that's valued at $158. You're going to get 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course. This is probably one of my most successful courses because I show people, how to monetize their LinkedIn. You should be marketing on LinkedIn. You should be making money on LinkedIn. Some of my biggest and best clients have come through LinkedIn. Probably 90% of my biggest and best clients have come through LinkedIn. So I'm a huge advocate. That course alone is valued at $197. And it's 6 courses in that one course, right? There's 6 modules. And then all access to the keynote and breakout sessions the day of the conference. And that is valued at $1,497. The total value of the Access Granted Conference is $1,997. Now, I know you guys are thinking, oh my God, I don't have that kind of money. I'm already trying to figure out this funding thing. Don't worry, right? I've got some other things that's going to help you. Now, again, what I want you to remember, guys, is you want to talk to the people who signed the front of the checks, not the back of the checks. The reason why Access Granted is so different than a lot of conferences that I've been to is because I'm bringing the decision makers into the room. Not the secretaries, not the executive assistant. These are the funders who are making decisions about where the funding is going. And these are the individuals who are connected to other investors, connected to other funders, right? So their networks are even deeper. So the more that you tap in with them, the more now you can tap into their resources and their connections. That's how, you really grow and scale. And let me just show you the lineup of speakers that we have. We're going to have 9 speakers, right? We've got Abraham J. Williamson, who is a venture capitalist and tech startup attorney. Okay, out of Nashville, Tennessee. We got Christopher Seneca, who right now has over $100 million in real estate development projects going on in the Houston market. He's a real estate developer and consultant and investor. We have Dr. Shantae, who's a capital activist. She's also an impact and venture investor. And remember, Alyssa, one of the things I talked about earlier is impact investing. So this is the type of woman you would want to be talking to because she's very conscious of impact investing, meaning investing in organizations that are conscious about the ecosystem. We also have Pedro Moore. He's a venture capital advisor. Actually, he's a venture capital advisor for Damon John on Shark Tank, guys. We have Marley right here at the bottom. Marley is a lawyer. out of Brooklyn, New York, and he deals with business structuring, right? Showing you how to minimize your taxes and liabilities, maximize your profit, right? How to protect your assets, and how to build generational wealth. You can do all of that through business structuring. Because again, if you don't structure your business right on the front end, it will eat you alive on the back end. Also, we have Williams D. Bragg, who's an author, podcaster, a business coach, right? Comes from the financial world. So when he and I did business a year ago, he was the vice president for Regions Bank, right? One of the growing banks. He deals with accounts between 400 million and 2 billion, guys. We have Polly Ute, who's with First Financial, right? A financial advisor. So again, you need to know how to diversify your portfolio so that as you're bringing in more money, you know how to now make that money work for you, so you don't have to work so hard for the money. And then we also have Adonis Lockett, who is the director of operations for LNH Capital. He's also a real estate investor. So again, if you're in the real estate market, right, and looking for investments to now do more projects and need more funding in that space, this is the man that you need to talk to. So again, guys, we have a supreme lineup of investors, right? Venture capitalists, angel investors, individuals who come from the finance and banking industry, and wealth managers. And the best part is they look like you. These are all people of color. So again, remember, I said you're going to get that 3-course dining experience. Okay. You're going to get the cocktails in the courtyard. I'm going to give you the access to my monetized LinkedIn course, which is one of my signature courses, one of my biggest money makers. And then let me show you guys. This is a young lady who came to my conference. She came to my first and my second conference, and she secured a $10,000 grant after my first conference. To date, she's already received $76,000 in grant funding. Let me pause for a second so I can address some of these questions. Let's see. Hi, Seneca. I sent request to connect. I would introduce your group to the EB5 program. Okay, I haven't seen your request, so make sure you send it to the right LinkedIn. Let me just give you my LinkedIn, because you might be sending it to the wrong place. All right, so I just put my LinkedIn in there, so make sure you're sending the request there. And again, if you guys are on here and you haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn. My network is pretty savvy on LinkedIn. All right, guys, so let's keep on going. So again, this is someone who has received funding. As of my last conference in March, back in Charlotte, North Carolina, she just secured a $5,000 pitch competition. And not only that, but she's the only Black-owned vodka company, Black-owned, woman-owned vodka company in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she is now in every major retailer. Her vodka company, her vodka brand is now in every major retailer. And not only that, guys, but remember, I talked about grant funding as well. So for those of you who are nonprofits and for-profits, right, there's tons of grant funding available. This is a nonprofit that I work with at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. They brought me in to build a digital literacy program for them. And together, me and another grant writer was able to secure $5.4 million in grant funding for that one organization. So we were able to secure $5.4 million for a 2-year grant program. And I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot I can do with $5.4 million in 2 years. A whole lot. Okay. So let me be clear, right? I'm not telling you what I've heard. I'm telling you what I've done for my own clients. And again, guys, if all this did, right, if you came to the Access Granted Conference and all it did was give you direct access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your own business, would it be worth $1,997? Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you came to the Access Granted Conference here in Houston, June 16th and 17th, and all it did was give you direct access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your business, would it be worth the $1,997? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no? Yes or no? Would it be worth it? And we'll be wrapping up in just a minute, guys. Would it be worth it, guys? Let me know. Bill said yes, it would be worth it. Okay. Alyssa, if you're still there, let me know. Would it be worth the $1,997? All right. So the everybody says yes, it will be worth it. But let me tell you something. The priority access tickets, right? Where you get the welcome package, right, from me and sponsors, valued at $45, the exquisite three-course dining experience where you get to mix and mingle with the investors and other like-minded business professionals, right, at $100 value, the cocktails in the courtyard business networking experience, $158 value, the 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn, which is my absolute favorite course, right, valued at $197, my all access to the keynote and breakout sessions, right, where you get to talk to the actual investors, $1,497. Total value $19.97. Today, only $4.97. With tickets are running out, right? So I'm going to make sure that you get in the door. And the ticket, instead of being $1,997, today only $497. And let me show you how I made it even easier for you guys. I called PayPal, who I've been a loyal customer of for many years, and asked them, could I offer a buy now, pay later plan for my conference? And guess what they said? Absolutely. So now you can buy now and pay later. And you have two easy options. Let me show you what those options are. You can pay in four. So you can do one down payment and then pay in three more installments later, right? You can split those purchases up in four interest free bi weekly payments without the hassle of late fees. So bi weekly, you would be paying $124.25 bi weekly, right? And so you can have that paid off in 2 months. Or if you need a little bit more time, and that's totally understandable, you can pay monthly. You can do 6 months, 12 months, or 24-month payments. Think about it. If you spread a $500 payment up into 12 months, I mean, you know, I'm sure I paid that in for coffee at Starbucks every month. Okay. So you have two easy options. You can buy now, pay later, and you can split it up into 2-month payments, or you can spread it out over the year. And let me leave you with guys with this. I heard this a while ago, and this really hit home for me. If you're interested, you'll do what is convenient. If you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. Let me tell you, the reason why I was able to become an international speaker so quickly after leaving my corporate job in 2014, starting my business in 2015, and going international in 2016 is because I invested in a speaker program. The speaker program was in Delaware, right? And at the time, I was living in Texas. So I had to fly all the way from Texas to Delaware. The conference was $4,000. People thought I was crazy. Like, you're going to pay $4,000 to a lady you have never even met in person before. But guess what? She had a stellar track record. She had great recommendations. She had been an international speaker already. She was already a multimillionaire. And guess what? She showed me what she did to become an international speaker. And after taking her course in Delaware, which was a 4-day conference, in less than a year, I became an international speaker. So I did my very first international speaking engagement in Darling, South Africa. And let me just show you the lady Kim who secured the $10,000 funding. Let me show you a quick testimonial from her.
Hey, my name is Kimberly Evans. I am the founder and CEO of Just a Rideshare, a rideshare community of women drivers and riders, providing a safe alternative rideshare experience based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, I wanted to tell you guys about an event that I attended last year called Access Granted. And guess what? It's about to happen again in March, and I am so excited. Listen, this pint sized powerhouse, Seneca Dunmore, has put on an amazing event in past, and she is doing it again. So last year, and I have my notes even from last year, she everything was great from top to bottom. The camaraderie, the networking, the food was amazing, and the speakers that she brought in actually had powerful content to share. Everything from alternative business funding with Tamika Stafford, right? It was amazing. To angel investors, Padowitz, who talked about their theses and companies that they typically invest in. There were accountants there and strategists and planners, and it was just so amazing. And then Seneca herself talked about the power of crowdfunding and how you can basically use crowdfunding for anything. And it was a powerful lesson. So since the event, I have gone on to pursue and to win grant funding, which she talked a lot about that as well. And it was just so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what she has in store for us this year. So if you are in the Charlotte area or anywhere close to the Charlotte area, you do not want to miss Access Granted this year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn. Look it up and be in the house because, again, I cannot wait to see what's coming this year. All right. Thanks.
All right, guys. And so just wanted to give you guys that brief testimonial to let you know, like, not only are individuals, attending the conference, but they're also getting the funding that they need as well to grow and scale their business. So again, today you can get started for just $497, right? And if you don't have the $497 up front, you can do the buy now, pay later plan through PayPal. So you go to youraccessgranted.com/tickets, youraccessgranted.com/tickets. And when you scroll down, right, you'll see the different options in terms of the tickets. Click on the first one, which is a priority access ticket. And they have three options. You can do pay in full, payment plan, or buy now, pay later through PayPal. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll start the timer so that if you have any questions, I can answer them now. And remember, guys, all of the things that you're getting, right? You're getting direct access to the investors, the decision makers, right? You're going home with a welcome package. You're getting a 3-course meal, right? Where you get to mix and mingle with other business professionals. You get the cocktails in the courtyard. We get to mix and mingle with the other investors, right? 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course, which is one of my favorite courses because I show you how to make money on LinkedIn. I show you how to find investors through LinkedIn. And again, all access to the keynote and breakout sessions the day of the conference. So you get to ask your questions, you get to mix and mingle with the investors and really cultivate those relationships. Remember, I said business is a team sport. So you want to start making these individuals, cultivating a relationship with them and putting them on your team. Alyssa, thank you so much for attending. And yes, I want to know more about your business. And again, if you're available, on the 16th and the 17th of June, I would definitely recommend you coming to the Access Granted Conference, especially because of the type of business, because I could really see impact investors wanting to be a part of your initiative. Any questions? Any questions? And again, I put my LinkedIn in there as with me. So make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. Make sure you guys connect with me on LinkedIn because I post a lot of valuable information. You'll see tons of information about the conference via LinkedIn, testimonials, promotional videos, and all of that. Great resources. Any questions before we go? So remember, I would take advantage. This is the thing. You can't be what you can't see, right? So if you're trying to get money, if you're trying to get investing, you need to be around the investors, right? You need to be in proximity to them. So that's why this conference is so unique and so special because we're bringing you in the room with the people who make money decisions. Okay. And we're going to have a wonderful time. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Any questions I can answer for you guys before we go? Any questions I can answer for you guys before we go? Any questions? Any comments or questions? Any questions? Any comments? We have a few more minutes and then I'll be logging off for my next meeting at 12 o'clock. So, again, thank you guys for joining me and being a part of this. All right. Any questions? I'll stay for another few minutes. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Drop it in the chat. Any questions? Well, guys, if you don't have any questions, I see you guys are on LinkedIn, so definitely make sure we are connected on LinkedIn. If you think of anything, just drop me a DM in my LinkedIn. And again, definitely take advantage of, and let me just put the your access granted.com/tickets. And I'll give you the in case you want to get to the buy now, pay later a little bit quicker, here's the link as well. And again, guys, it's going to be a phenomenal conference. We've got some of the most amazing people coming in. We've got Marley, who's a lawyer, coming in from Brooklyn, New York. We've got Pedro Moore coming in from Delaware. Got Abraham J. Williamson coming in from Nashville, Tennessee. Brax, who's coming in from Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Shante, who's coming in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Adonis Lockett, who's coming in from Dallas, Texas. Houston. Chris Senegal is here in Houston. He's local. So yeah, we've got a phenomenal team of individuals. And this is the time when you want to be asking funders for their money, because this is when they see the most opportunity. Remember, more millionaires are made in a down economy than an up economy. So I know most people think that's really strange, but no, that's the truth. And this is when investors are looking for opportunities to invest their money. All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure hosting you today. I hope you got a lot of value from the information that I was able to share with you. And again, if you have any more questions, just send me a DM on LinkedIn. And I look forward to you guys joining us at Access Granted here in Houston, Texas. We're going to be at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. All right. Have a great day, guys.